So, finally, finally. So, I ironed my shirt this morning. Okay, just letting you know that I did iron it. I put on the coat and it got destroyed. Um, I'm going to talk about the journey to the creation of Infinite Power Digital. Okay, one of the first few times that I was here, I can't remember his name, but he told me, "Oh, it would be lovely if you tell us your story, so that we all get to know you." And when Neil told me to present, I thought, okay, I'm going to give him the story. There's a lot there. Okay, there's another few slides. So I'll talk about everything. I hope. Don't get bored. And have patience because English is not my first language. Okay. So the first thing is that I come from the Dominican Republic, born and raised in the Dominican Republic. The Dominican Republic is that island there. It's a paradise island in the Caribbean. It's the fastest growing economy in the Latin American region. I come from a family of business leaders. On one hand, my dad, he was a writer, he was a politician, he was a sociologist, and he was a historian. He wrote over 20 books, some of them translated into 5 languages. And he ran for president of the Dominican Republic in the 70s. I wasn't alive yet. I couldn't see it, but I know it. On the other side, my granny became the first female accountant in the country, and she built one of the top 3 accountancy firms that has over 65 years. She's now retired. She's 99. She's going to be 100 next year. She's alive. And the firm is still running strong. Just to give you a little bit of context about my childhood, when I was 10, I was part of a dancing company professionally. And when I was 18, I was a qualified musician. Okay. I wanted to be an artist and continue to dance and sing and do music. But my dad said that not all the artists can have a great life. So why don't you find something that is more profitable for you? So I thought the creative side of business is marketing and media. So I'm going to study media. So the degree of media wasn't available in my country. So I flew to Spain. I spent 3 years in Barcelona. I was only 18 the first time I moved. Did 3 years in Barcelona, a year in the UK. Flew back to the Dominican Republic. Traveling wasn't an option. I went straight to a very serious job. In 2005, when I flew back, I was managing corporate events for companies such as Orange. I don't know if you know Orange. It's like similar to Vodafone here. Orange is a French telephone company. So I was the account manager for corporate events for Orange. I was dealing with the Orange management. I was the 21-year-old leading the event of corporate events. You know, they can be 2,000, 5,000 people. That was me. I also managed the event for Air Europa. It's a Spanish airline. It would be like similar to Aer Lingus. And these dice. Hopefully it comes back. And after that production with events experience, I landed my first audiovisual job with the movie Miami Vice. I worked with Colin Farrell in his wildest days. Yeah, I knew exactly what he was looking for. He was very special. Everybody remembers Colin Farrell in the Dominican Republic. He loved the colmados, which is the places that people drink and dance. He loved the atmosphere in the colmado, like the local ones. I had to change his hotel because he had a wrist fight with Jamie Foxx. They hated each other. So I was responsible for moving him hotel because they couldn't see each other, and they were in the same movie. Anyway, from there I landed my first full-time marketing role. I was producing bi-monthly catalogs for the second biggest retailer in the country. So producing a catalog means dealing with the buyers of the products and telling them what trend was going to be selling. That means dealing with photographers, dealing with the agency, dealing with the printers, and coordinating everything. That's where I learned about visual merchandising, about customer behavior, about how to understand customers. We used to go to the shops and do like real life exercises to observe people, buyers' behavior, how do they dress, to understand their style, to be able to buy better products and accelerate sales, and also create impulse buying. Okay. So with that role, I learned a lot of visual merchandising and I learned a lot of consumer behavior. So the only part that I didn't control of the process, and I love learning stuff, it was the photography part. So I qualified myself in photography in order to be able to offer the whole experience to the employer. I really loved that position. I did that for a few years, but then the competition, the biggest employer in the country, hired me for standardizing all of their stores, 27 stores at the time, all of their visual communication. So as soon as you go to the shop, for example, Tesco, when you see the welcome, when you go to the fruit department, the photo that you see, like all of the POS, point of sale, I was responsible for creating for the biggest two brands. I created it, and then I needed to hire a team of designers for them to keep it. And nowadays, I still go there, and it's still my design. I'm very happy. So moving forward, IKEA, the first IKEA store in Latin America, came to open the first IKEA store. I wanted to be part of a commercial team because up to that point, I had only been in the creative part, and I wanted to sit in meetings with commercial directors and to talk about numbers and forecasts and stuff. So I applied with a IKEA Latin America, and I landed after 9 interviews a job in IKEA, managing the bottom floor. If you've been to IKEA Balimon, the journey is that you go upstairs and then you go downstairs where the spoons and the teacups and lighting and all of that. I was responsible for the whole floor. So they flew me to the IKEA University in the Netherlands. They have a university, and that's where I learned the power of a great culture. Because IKEA, it's all about their culture. You need to understand how they think, how they sell, how they buy, the way of doing customer service, the way of doing logistics, the way of doing absolutely everything. It was super strict, and we spent only a week learning the IKEA culture. So I trained with IKEA mentors in the Netherlands, learned all the information, went back to the Dominican Republic to hire 80 people to be under me. And I was 26. So it was an amazing experience. It was a school. But at that point, I felt that everybody was seeing me as a retail marketing expert. And I didn't want to be inside a box. I don't like that. I felt I could do more than that. So I came to Ireland in 2011. I did an MBA in marketing. That was the times of the digital revolution. Social medias were exploding. And in fact, my investigation was about Facebook behavior, a comparison between the Irish market and the Dominican market. And that's me presenting in the university because they invited me to present my findings. That marks the start of my digital marketing career, 2012. I'm what people call a digital dinosaur. That's me. Yeah. So after that, I soon landed a job with an American company. I flew to the US to train with the CEO. It was buying and selling digital space. I came back to Ireland. I grew the business from 0 to 30 clients. And in 2013, a little bit later, I was offered an e-commerce role. For me, it was very attractive because I was coming from traditional retail, and e-commerce would be the digital part of retail. So I took it on, and I was responsible of building the Irish market and building the emerging markets merchants network. We manage the biggest e-commerce platform for employers. So, for example, if you're in a job, they recognize you. You get points, and then you can go to my platform, the one that I was managing, to redeem your points. And in that platform, you could have found Amazon, you could have found Tesco, you could have found, So we had to keep the platform, create the copy, the text for the platform, make it attractive, and also negotiate with the merchants. But that year, my life changed forever because my dad died suddenly in the Dominican Republic, and I was here. Something that I always had a fear of experiencing. I experienced it. And I don't know for you if you've ever experienced death with somebody that you love. That was like a cold shower, and very cold shower. I hate cold water, by the way. So that made me think I always wanted to have my own business, but I never had the courage to do it. And at that point, I was like, if my dad died from one day to the other, it means that I could die from one day to the other. Am I gonna, just be afraid? So I created, I knew how to create a product, how to promote it, and how to sell it. So I created my first company when I was pregnant with my first child in 2013, called My Little Event Ireland, I was hosting events for kids. I saw a niche, created that business, became an Irish citizen around that time as well. And I ran that business for about 2.5 years until after I had my second child. When I went back to my full-time job as an e-commerce expert, it was unmanageable. I had 2 kids. I had a business that was running in the weekends, and I was working full-time, and it was crazy. So I decided to stop the business and keep my full-time job. But I wasn't expecting that I was going to realize that I was being bullied in my full-time job. So at that point, I said, okay, so what do I do? The only solution that I could see at that moment, with the awareness that I had, was to leave. So I was left with nothing, not one thing, not the other. And I thought, what can I do with what I have that is egoless? Because I thought that the corporate world was full of ego and full of lack of authenticity, and stressless, because I have 2 young kids. So I said, okay, and recurring revenue. I wanted recurring revenue. I didn't want like one party here and another. No, I wanted money coming in all the time. So I said, okay, I know how to be, I'm a photographer and I'm a musician. I'll give both a go. If I do school photography, it might work. And if it doesn't work, music teaching could work. I didn't expect that they would both work. And after 6 months, I was doing 4 full schools a week. So 1,200 headshots a week. And I was teaching about 100 people in the evenings. So stress-free, it wasn't. And the feedback from both was really, really good. People were saying that I knew like my teaching style was really close, that I wasn't condescending, like I was getting a lot of good feedback, especially coming from being bullied. Those things, you're like, oh, actually, yeah. So with all of that feedback, and all of that going well, even though I was driving here and driving there and going crazy, I felt that I still wasn't impacting the person that I wanted to impact. I wanted to help people like me to be able to do what I had done. So I said, okay, I know about digital marketing. I have a lot of feedback here. I had a lot of testimonials. I'm going to create a digital product. The internet, I studied it. I know it's working. So I created my first digital product, created a class, a masterclass. When I created my first masterclass, people thought that I was crazy. My mom thought that I was scamming people on the internet. At that, like 2018, we were very few. Now it's way more normal. But at that point, everyone was like, "What are you doing? You're trying to get people's money on the internet or something?" No. So Facebook ads were absolutely like nothing, like so cheap compared to now. So I created the presentation, I created the ad, I created the campaign, I created the product, and I did my first launch in 2018. That's my first personal brand in Spanish. I did it to the Spanish-speaking market. Te ayudo a vender sin miedo. I help you to sell without fear, was my product. So launched it, invested 150 in Facebook ads. First launch sold out 6,000 euros. Second launch, again, invested a little bit more, 8,000 euros. And then I thought, this is interesting. However, I had a huge low moment in 2019. And it's something that I've never spoken about. But when I was creating this story, I just realized that I didn't take any time around here. I just went like if I was a rocket. I didn't stop. And all of the work that I should have done here and all of the space that I needed to take, I didn't take it, and it hit me here in 2019. So in 2019, as I was working with the education sector, because I was doing school photography and teaching, I said, okay, I'm going to take time off and I'm going to go to Thailand. I had tried meditation before, prescribed, because I suffer from migraines, and it didn't work. But this time, I don't know what led me there, but I went there and I spent 10 days with monks because I thought I was crazy. Like, everything was okay. Why am I not okay? So anyway, I still continue to serve my clients. I still continue to, like, none of my, like, not even my family knows about this. Like, it's not something that I've spoken about a lot. I kept going, continue serving my clients, continue providing value. And in 2020, as a surprise, I received 2 awards of excellence. Not expected at all. And when I received those awards, I doubled in size in my music school. In the middle of the pandemic, when people were losing jobs, I doubled the size and I hired 3 people. And then I got a Leo mentor from the local enterprise office to help me digitalize the business. And when he met me, he said, "But you are the one that should be helping people digitalize the businesses. You have to be doing this. You have to be doing this." That was never in my head to do it in Ireland. Never. What he did, I mean, he's my client now, by the way. But he was determined that I had to help people here. And that's the beginnings of Infinite Power Digital. So after that, I mean, this is phase 1, like broken down. After that, what I did is that I partnered with Joe. He's a project manager with over 15 years experience in global projects with Microsoft, Goal. It worked in many different sectors. And we wanted to create a service that was non-condescending, that was educational, and that was based in what we do in ourselves, that we give it to people. We wouldn't sell something that we haven't implemented in ourselves first. Okay, we wanted to be innovative. We want to be super creative. I forgot to move this, and that's what we did. So in 2021, we decided formally to register the company, and before even it was registered, we already had clients. We've impacted around 3,000 people with our projects. We've educated around 700 people digitally. And we're now super proud to help. Did you finish that? Will I move it? Yeah. We're now super proud to help serve business owners, experts, and coaches to transform their businesses without wasting time on irrelevant content and without getting frustrated with technology through the creation of authentic personal brands with authentic messages and through the creation of the digital journeys that turn their website visitors into happy customers. So that's us. This is our operating system. Okay. We start on the vision. If we don't know your vision, we cannot do magic if you don't know what your vision is. Vision, from there we find the person that only you can help, okay? Because we all have different stories, and I truly believe there's one person that only you can help with your story. From there we move to the marketing plan. Then from the marketing plan, ideal channels, what are the channels that we're going to be communicating that message? Implement and sell, and then optimize. And it goes like that. That's us. And I want to finish by saying that your dream clients are waiting to know who you are. It's not about who you know, it's about who knows you. They're waiting to know who you are, and they are only one sales system away from you. And if I had only, that is me, if I had relied solely on word of mouth, me and Joe wouldn't be here today. Just as my personal brand and our digital sales system helped us expand our message infinitely, it can do the same for you. If I relied on word of mouth, I didn't know anybody. I wouldn't be here. Like, the internet is there to help us all. Embrace it. And as I didn't give a class and I love teaching, there is a mini course that I created last year. It's still up to date, about how to understand how to create your first Facebook ad campaign. Okay, it's going to give you ideas, and it's going to give you awareness of how the internet works in terms of the amount, the design that you need to have, the persuasive copy, which is the text that you write, like sales copy. It will give you ideas. It will open your awareness. I've created myself around 30 campaigns myself. So I gave you the best of all the things all the failings that I've had. And that's it. Thank you. Do I need to stand up? Still stand up? No. I can sit.
Career state and your journey. So thank you so much. Does anyone have any questions?
Oh yeah, the barcode. So that work my phone here. It's really good for.
I'm in the.
Would you be able to send the WhatsApp group after?
Yeah, I can send this on my phone.
Just take out your phones and scan it.
You know, I have, but I have it here. You can pass it on. You know.
Thank you so much, Abby. Okay, so we might just get into discussion groups now and just chat about a few things that I suggested. So we'll do is